Okay guys, today we're going to be talking about chip breakers and how all of these tools have a chip breaker inherently built into them, and how our jointer has a chip breaker, our thickness planer has a chip breaker, and then how we can use our knowledge of chip breakers to then help our routing and shaper table work. So let's dive into it a little bit. First, I think I want to start talking about just a simple block plane. How this is essentially a chisel mounted into a hand device. So you're not pushing this. That will then also hold the chisel at the exact angle and depth that you want it. And on this low angle block plane specifically, it has an adjustable throat, which then I can set how much of a shaving I want to take and how I want to maybe hog out a lot of material or minimize tear out by using the adjustable throat, which is the chip breaker. On a smoothing plane, it doesn't have an adjustable throat, but it does have an adjustable frog, which is this piece here. And the blade bevel is the opposite way of the low angle block plane, and you sharpen it a little bit differently. This takes really fine shavings and reduces almost all of the tear out by getting the gap between what is now the chip breaker and the blade extremely small. And so you might have micro tear out, but there really is no tear out. And I can just kind of go on and on with all of these. You know, this doesn't have an adjustable chip breaker, but by positioning the blade to the front part where you're actually cutting, it's essentially chip breaking. All right, let's move to the machines and I can talk about chip breakers further. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is a jointer. And the blade spins this way. You come at the blade in this direction, and right here is the chip breaker. So I don't really care about the jointer too much. I don't get that much tear out, but you can pay attention to the grain angle, so that way you can be cutting with the grain to reduce tear out. Plus this little part here, looks like we've got about an 1/8 inch of a chip breaker. So I could, in theory, bring this, I believe, no, I can only set the height here. I think I could actually get this closer if I wanted to. So there's our first modern chip breaker. All right, we're now at my thickness planer from the 1940s. And the blade is spinning this way. And this is actually the chip breaker right here. And I can adjust the depth of the chip breaker with this. And see, it just rests there. And that goes down pretty low under the blade. And once again, it's important to pay attention to the grain direction of the wood when you send it through here to reduce tear out. But also having your chip breaker adjusted appropriately will help reduce tear out further. And sometimes I can't not get away from tear out because the grain changes along the length of the board, and tear out's just something you can't completely avoid. Okay, so we're looking at my smaller shaper table now, and what you can kind of create your own chip breaker by moving the fence as close to the blade as possible. And if you really wanted to, I'll show you how I have it set up on another machine. You could actually cut into the fence to create a almost zero clearance chip breaker and almost have no tear out whatsoever. So you can loosen this, find where you want to be, and then tighten the fence down. And that essentially is making a chip breaker. All right, and for our last example, I'm on my, what I call my sticking machine, but it's just a little bit larger shaper table. Right here you can see where I have another cutter to do a glass rabbet, but it's on another machine at the moment. So what I've done with this one is I actually have cut the fence out on both sides, and I almost have no clearance. It looks like I've got a 1/16 of an inch, and this basically removed any tear out. So I don't need the climb cut anymore. I can just come straight in and get a really nice clean cut when I'm sticking. So this is your chip breaker. Okay guys, thank you for watching. That's all I've got on chip breakers. If you guys have any other things to add that I've missed, this is just something that I organically started to realize through my 8 or 9 years now of working in woodworking, largely being self-taught in books, and I just thought I wanted to share that with you guys. It really helped me out. Hopefully it'll help you out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.